That's it? It's just you and me?
I don't know. I don't know.
Okay, just give it a minute. They're coming.
Hmm.
Meryl, hi.
Yo.
Hi.
Hello. Hold on. There we go.
How are
Oh,
you?
you look amazing. Look at the vibration there. Woohoo.
Yeah. Okay.
Mike, figured out skins, or are you in Pebble Beach? Where are you?
We don't know.
Nice.
All right. All right. All right.
Harold. Come on. Where you go, boy? Dark out here. Come on. Come on, who's hungry? Let's go. Come on.
All right. All right. We'll just get started anyway. I don't want to waste too much time. Obviously, this is a new season. Season 3. It started with ZOE. Other connects is growing rapidly. I mean, there's so many connect groups now, which is amazing for the church. I think COVID put them in a forced position to look at how church is moving forward. You know, they had 3 places in LA before, physical locations, and they had to be consolidated down to one office space. And then that's where they're even recording all their sessions that we watch on Sunday. It looks amazing when they record it online. It looks like they're still in their huge space. And when I went to go visit, it's a really tiny space they can find themselves to over the COVID year. So they're really making the best out of it. It was amazing to see. I was like, you do everything in here? They're like, yeah. I mean, it was really cool to see how efficient they're being and how much they utilized, the confinements they had in LA during COVID. So coming back, they finally got $1 million theater. So now they're going to be physically there, only have one spot. But over this past year, Connect Group has literally blown up. I mean, so many people are joining every season, hosting, and there's more and more options for her groups and couples groups and married groups and discussion groups and special interests, sports. really anything you want to talk about. It's not just about church. You know, I chose to discuss Sunday's message for this group because early on that's what we were just doing. But people are doing all sorts of cooking connect. So it really doesn't have to do with church, Sunday church. It really just has more to do with connecting the community of ZOE followers and ZOE churchgoers, like that were part of the community, and just keep them connected any way possible. So it's been really cool to see people stand up and take some control and start groups of their own. Like I said, just sharing maybe something they're really good at, their skills in life. There's an entrepreneur one, a business one. So it's been pretty amazing to see everybody kind of step up and that really be something big that ZOE has now. They're putting a lot of energy in these connect groups. So it's exciting. I'm glad we're part of it. And then we can do, the little that we do for each other and just to get more people encouraged to join us or join any of them, So that being said, this is season 3. It's the 4th series of the new season at ZOE. So ZOE's Dangerous Habits. We started this 2 weeks ago. They're on their 4th series of Dangerous Habits as the big topic. So even though this is the start of Connect, first one, we're discussing the 4th installment of Dangerous Habits, which was entitled Worship and Prayer. So if you didn't watch it or you did, my biggest takeaway from it, I think, was over and over, the lesson was for me was discipline. When they talk about habits, we talked about James Clear's book, Atomic Habits, and like what it actually takes to create a habit, to break a habit, to create a new one, how we get into habits, how we form them, how we break them. But, this series has been about dangerous habits. Like, what are the ones that get in our way that sometimes we don't even recognize? Sometimes we don't recognize as a habit that we've created. I think more importantly, a lot of times we feel like, why is this happening to me? Or, unlucky me. Or you hear that from some people sometimes, like, why me? And sometimes, yes, God is putting a challenge in your life because he chose you, because you can shoulder it. He knows that you can take it versus somebody else. And you're the one that has to champion it so you can take the lesson and share it. But a lot of times, like, I think more than anything, a lot of the times it's truly just habits you've created. That's what's showing up in your life. You have a pattern to your life. We all do. And when you continuously choose that pattern, you're only going to see certain outcomes. Like that's how it is. Like that saying, like, you're not going to see a different outcome and do the same thing, right? Do the same thing over and over and expect a different outcome. That's insanity, right? So we unknowingly are kind of creating all these variables and these habits every day, hundreds of habits, like how you get up in the morning, what you do first, how you wash yourself in the shower. Like if you've breaking everything down, if you watch yourself do everything you do in a day, you can narrow it down to you have patterned yourself to do it the same exact way. But the toothpaste on the toothbrush, where you start in your mouth to brush your teeth, how long it takes you, like all those things are patterns that turn into habits. And I think if we took a close microscope to our lives, we can really diagnose most of our issues in life, most of our problems, and really truly understand why we feel the way we do sometimes, why we feel like, why is this always happening? Why is this a pattern? Why do I always pick these people? Why do I always get in this position? Why am I always upset at work? Why am I always sad around my family? Most of those answers are sitting right here, right inside here in your heart and your mind. And the coolest thing ever to me is we have the choice every single second, not day, second, to change it. We have the opportunity and the choice to change it. This message this week to me was like, I heard over and over was, it's the discipline. No, it's the discipline that we're willing to embark on that actually will change something for the different in our life. So, you know, in my life, I've been witness to kind of false idolizing. So, you know, I've seen people that I was like, oh, how, you know, it's nice. They have their faith and they're always involved and, you know, they seem happy. And some people live on the surface of that, what that means. Like they want to represent or present themselves as the good, the churchgoer, the less sinning, they want to come out as the healthy, like all you can go on of the topics, what they're trying to present, right? But the point is, it's the discipline behind anything we project, we say, we do, we're gonna do, changes, you know, the New Year's when we have resolutions. What are we gonna do? It comes down to the discipline, but more importantly, the commitment to actually even wanting to do it, like truly wanting to do it. Not I want to lose weight, or I want to get in better shape, or I'm not going to drink this year, or I'm not going to smoke this year. And like, you're going to try it and it's a pain in the ass. Like you have to be truly ready and committed so that you can put the discipline behind it. So then you can actually break a pattern. It becomes easy to change your outcome.
Yep.
So a lot of us are guilty of it. I know I am, over and over, is really applying these things to ourselves. Like what does worship mean? What does prayer mean? What does being godly mean? What does being a man of faith, woman of faith, or just a churchgoer? Or what does it mean to be part of ZOE family? What does it mean? And I think everybody can have a different answer to that. We're not looking for this unified religion answer, if you will, because that's not what I believe in, but it truly should mean, how committed are you truly to living the life that you preach, say about, teach, anything? If you're putting it out in front of somebody else and you're telling them this, that, and attentions, or even if the intentions are really good, learning patterns happen from application. Like in teaching, in the brain, it learns from having emotion connected to it, or seeing an example set, or watch a model. The trust factor of watching something happen so you can believe in it, commit to it, have discipline to it, make it your own. I mean, we don't do that a lot. Like I feel like it's easier to say that pattern. It sounds nice and smooth, but it is hard. It is hard to care about the people around you and the loved ones, and care about everybody that you want to care about and see the best for them. Meanwhile, at the same time, caring deeply the most about yourself, so that you're living that true life too. So not only are you showing a model and a pattern, but you're giving all the freaking love to yourself, and you feel amazing. You have everything to give. I think that's the hardest part, is the balance. Like we want to be there for others. Human nature is to connect. As we always talk about this, is to connect with other humans. And when we see other humans and have a little bit of empathy or feeling, and or we care about them in a way, we want to see the best out of the people that are close to us, the family, the relationships. And it's always easier to give the information out than really just stick to it, apply it, and actually make a change. Like I talk about the things in my life I recognize that molded me into the person I am today. But it's only because I let them mold me into that person. I wasn't aware enough at the time to know that I had a choice every second, and that I'd have to continue to talk about it and make it my story. See, I patterned that for myself. I created a story, a narrative my whole life of what I came from, what I had or what I didn't have. And it was creating this pattern and habits for myself, or my character and my everyday actions. And it molded me into this person that I wasn't even choosing every day. And I wasn't even witness to it. Couldn't even see it. I just thought, like, that's what you're supposed to do, man. Like, you come from this, you're supposed to, and I think the beauty of this, the lesson for me was over and over was like, you have to have the feeling you truly want to do it, not because everybody else does it or because Wikipedia says it's healthy, or your fucking doctor says, anybody says, it doesn't matter who it is, somebody you truly care about, the person you're in a relationship with that you truly love, it shouldn't be a choice based on an outside influence. It needs to be deep in your heart so that you're even willing to stick to how long it actually takes to change a pattern or break a habit or change a lifestyle for the long haul. Like, I'm 20 years, 40 years, your lifetime. Not, I'm going to hit the gym January 1st and see how long I can last. Because I mean, that's kind of the mentality we live in. It's like, how long can I quit? You know, that's kind of how we start. Like how long can I quit drinking? How long can I quit smoking cigarettes? How long can I hit the gym every morning at 5? Instead of going, I'm going to take my life, which is 5 to 10. I'm going to switch stuff around, pull this out to make room for this now in my life. And that stays. 5 a.m. is now gym. It's not how long I can stay. It's there now. Instead of waking up and watching, catching up with my Facebook and a coffee, I'm going to wake up now for that hour and work out. But that's the commitment. Like, do I want to do it? And the answer doesn't always have to be yes. It has to be in your heart, true to your heart. What is happiness for you? I shared with Portia when I saw her, I talk about Jay Rice a lot as an example of when you know exactly who you are in your heart and you're comfortable with you and your own skin. A lot of the stuff and the stereotypes from everybody else and the witnessing and you shouldn't do this, it's healthy and blah, blah, blah. A lot of that falls away because can I tell Jay over and over, like, hey man, you should live a healthier life or eat better or stop smoking or because I care about him. But what the hell do we each know about each other truly if I tell him to do that and by trying to do that, it makes him less happy, truly, like less happy, like he's struggling and he's like, I can't do this. And we know people, on both sides that have done everything they're right their whole entire life. You look at them and go, dude, eat right, exercise. They're always happy. They're putting energy on people. Never fucked anybody over, all these things and die young, die early from a sickness or from something. You're like, wait, how? And then, we got Eric Ellinger's grandpa that drank 4 cases of Schlitz every single day and smoked pipes all day long. And he lived at like 98. He was chopping wood out back. He was freaking jacked. Like, but he was happy. Like, he was happy in his skin and his life. And it's hard to explain because there's so much more research we have to do, but the brain is so freaking intelligent. It'll protect. It's the computer. It's the everything. And for us trying to understand what it takes to live our best life, sometimes we get in the way of our own selves, and don't just realize that, like, happiness is just for you. Your happiness is yours. It's not somebody else's. You don't need to pattern me. We don't need to mirror each other because we're all truly, truly different human beings. We just need to support one another in the happiness, whatever it is, unless it's detrimental. I'm not talking about the extreme ends, like, your friend's putting needles in his arm in the back room. You shouldn't be in there like, hey, whatever makes you happy, man. I'm not saying that extreme. I'm just saying everybody has something. And if they're not hurting anybody and they believe in it, it's part of their happiness in their world. Like, our job is to support that and help them stay happy. But if they need help with the pattern, we need to understand what it takes to break a pattern ourselves. Are we showing the example? Are we setting an example? Are we just sharing information and passing it on as humans? Are we actually leaving a mark to let people, the ones that know around us, like this, that you can do it too? I don't know, that this message for me today with Chad was just, I know he was talking about worship and prayer and really talking about that a lot, about what that means and the commitment it takes to that, right? Like, what is your commitment to God? What is your commitment to praying and being there, even when times are bad. Like, so easy to show up when everybody's having a good time. We're all feeling great. I've shared with you guys, I've several times I've not wanted to do Monday just because I wasn't in a good space mentally. I didn't want to share the energy on the group. But that's not fair to me, most importantly, because this is my energy. It helps me. And two, it's not fair to anybody else because I'm having a freaking bad day. Like, showing up for people is showing up all the time. You can't choose, well, I'm not going to love you guys. Well, now you're not doing it for me. Like, you can't choose this attitude of wishy-washy. Like, when I choose, I'm feeling good with you guys. I'm not down with that. I'm not down with the false feeling of that. I'm not down with take what you need when you need it. And then where you at, like, that's nothing of what Chad was talking about today. There is no, that's the false witness. That's I want to present as this, but I'm doing none of the work behind the scenes to actually have a longevity of life that means this, right? Like, living it is a thing. And we're not even just talking about God anymore. I mean, anything, like, living it is a true thing. It's really freaking hard too. It's really hard to every single day match up to who you think you are. It's really freaking hard, but that's exactly the point. That's a discipline. It's a commitment. One, know who the heck you really want to be, so that it's not as hard to show up for yourself. But two, even if you're unbelievably impressed by yourself and comfortable in your skin, you feel alive every day, it's still freaking hard. That's the point. It's just not easy. It just doesn't become easy one day. You wake up and go, whew, I am here. That was a long trip. I don't think we ever, any of us. I think the best part is, like, I don't want to be on my deathbed and have my family around and me start saying all the things I can never get off my chest because I'm scared of death. And I think if we stop living like that and we live here more in the center, that when you feel like you're close to death or you even know you're going to die, man, it can be so peaceful instead of full of regrets and I'm sorry's and I wishes and all these things. And I wish I would have done this better and didn't do it, or I wish I would have quit or did start. Wouldn't it be nice just to not have that conversation with somebody you're losing, because they were just comfortable in their skin every single day, their whole life. What a beautiful feeling that would be. I don't want to be scared of, leaving. That would suck. So I just want to share 3 quick things with you. Just these titles real quick. I'm going to blaze through them just so the 3 problems that he pronounced during the message was, first problem was, we don't know how to pray. So he was talking about, what does that even mean for any of us? A lot of us don't know what praying is. If you think about, maybe not now, but in your lifetime of times you've like asked God for stuff, was that praying, or was it like you wanted something in a moment of hurt, or like you're like, dude, God, please help me here. Yeah, please help me here. I promise if you do, I won't do it again.
Yeah.
That's like some Bruce Almighty stuff. That's not praying. So he was kind of touched on that. Problem 1. Problem 2 was our hearts are condemned. So sometimes we condemn our own hearts. We throw guilt in our own hearts, just kind of what we talked about. Problem 3, we rely on ourselves. Right. So we've talked about this. Like, I've spent my life like, me, I'll take care of me. I don't need anybody or anything else. I'll take care of me. And then anybody else that needs me too, I'll take care of that. But we rely on ourselves too much, meaning the trust has to be over here in God too. We talked about that, a few weeks ago, like just complete 100% faith in knowing that there's a freaking plan for you. And if you get out of the way and stop relying on yourself so much and trying to control what you think is in your control, that the blessings will show up in your life. So he talks about the solution, satisfies my soul. The solution is be addicted to his presence. So if we relate that to life too, just not about God, but addicted to what the change is, addicted to what you want, like completely committed and passionate, addicted to it. And then the possibilities is peace, purpose, and passion, right? Like the possibilities that come out of these solutions to these problems is peace, purpose, and passion. The three things sounds pretty nice, those three words. I'd love to have all those all the time. It'd be great. Wake up with them. So I want to keep the conversation going on that topic of those things. Like, what does it take, the discipline, the commitment, so that we don't get into dangerous habits, right? All goes back to that. So I know I was long-winded. We started late, but I'm done. Anybody want to say anything on the topic?
I want to say something. Just quick. I'm just going to say that. So the whole series is on habits, and I think habits, the word I think of is transformation, right? And for transformation is change, and change takes time, right? There's transformation. We don't just transform and change overnight. And I like what you said. You have to know who you are, right? And I've been sitting with that and always ask myself, I know what is to be true for me, not what somebody has projected upon me, not what they think is good for me or what they might do in my situation. And for a long time, I was fortunate enough, I got to sit and understand, who am I? Ask myself that question, who am I? Who do I want to be? What do I believe in? What do I believe to know is true for me? And I think that creating habits comes back to, what is your why behind the habit? So like you had said, okay, so I'm going to start eating better because they told me if I cut out X, Y, and Z or this, I'll get a 6-pack of abs. Or if I do it over here, I'll be able to have a better quality of life. I'll be able to show up for the people that I love, and I'll be able to be here and be present and know that I will feel better doing it and my body will reward me for that. So you see one why over here and one why over here. One is going to be a lot stronger, and that habit is going to stick, and it's going to be like a foundation. So if you don't have a good foundation over here, it's going to just fall off because you have no purpose and passion behind it. You're just like, okay, well, that's just superficial. Over here, this is deep. This is like, okay, not only is it for me, but it's for all the people around me. And I know that if I can do that, it's going to make a change. It's going to make a change in me. It's going to make a change in other people. It's going to feel totally different. Like you can just, when you say it, the energy is different. You know what I'm saying? Like over here, it just kind of feels like, yeah, that, you know, that's not going to last because it has no purpose behind it. It has no, it's not even, it's someone else's belief upon you, you know? And so I think that when I start asking myself, what is my why behind what do I want to do? What do I want to create? What habits do I want to have? And like you said, as those habits, the more that you do them, they become part of your character and who you are. And so like today, I'm able to have, I feel like, strong willpower because those habits are still, my why is still important to me as to why I do what I do and why I live the way that I live.
Love that. Love it. Well said. What you got, Amber?
I mean, to speak on all your points, really, I mean, number one, you know, the example of with somebody like Jay Rice or the opposite of him being like our mom, or right, there's all kinds of different people living in their groove wherever they've found comfort or peace or some kind of way to, you know, sleep through the night for them or whatever it is. And, you know, even under the microscope on a micro or a macro level, it's all quantum physics underneath God. I mean, there's still the science that's happening. Molecules tend to attract to other molecules like them, you know? So it makes sense that, you know, what we choose, what we are like, how we act, what our attitude is like daily, what we tell ourselves, the narrative, that's going to be what continues to attract or detract from our life. So I love that. And I really believe in that because it always comes down to the simple words, you know, the few really profound words that Dad shared always was the, you know, no matter where you are, there you are. Now, look, to your point about every single different person, you know, having their own happy, you know, if what makes you truly happy is to wake up every day and night and surf, well, you're not going to be happy in the desert. So location matters. But for the most part, if you really do know who you are and that you're of service and that you can find peace, passion, and purpose no matter where you go, and you know that that's possible, wherever the train stops, I get off, I'm going to be able to be me in that locale, then no matter where you are, there you are. It doesn't matter where I am or what I do, because I will bring the peace with me. I will bring my passion with me, and I will bring my purpose with me. And to me, that's just to simply model one alternative. There's 7.5 billion people all doing different things, living their life a different way, figuring out what makes them happy in their own individual groove based on experience, perspective, beliefs, religion, imprints, desires, all the things, right? And all the things they've learned. Now, the more we do it, the easier it gets. But I think that I learned a lot about like the deprogramming. I don't know if it was like Catholic versus Christian belief systems or whatnot. I don't know even where I learned to pray, because I don't know that mom or anyone ever said like petition the Lord. I'm pretty sure I heard that in church repeatedly, where it was like a petition, like, please God, save grandma. Please God, take my pain away. Please God, let Johnny like me. Please God, you know, whatever it was, always please, please, please. And I didn't until like my 30s understand that like what manifesting was, and that was different. And to me, manifesting is prayer. People think that that's kind of two different things, like manifesting versus prayer. But really, that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to set my intentions and live in a space of gratitude, even when I'm suffering, because there's so many things to be grateful for. And then trying to manifest that if I am grateful for today, then therefore logic dictates I can't repeat my shitty, negative Nancy, attitude or whatever my narrative is that I've repeated and regurgitated throughout my life, that always comes up inside of us all the time. Because what he said, we're born with a condemned heart, like born sinners, like that same kind of thing. Like the existential dilemma is that we are going to always constantly not know the profundity of the God that we are and the God that lives inside of us, because we constantly, look at ourselves as like peons. Even though our ego feels really big, it's so disconnected from our physicality here and like our spirit and soul nature. And so with that, I just wanted to say, for me, prayer is more about like the manifesting and the gratitude. And that from also, I think that the way that I personally learned, look, I have the negative stuff come up all the time, and the self-worth issues all the time, and the ego and the anger and all the different feelings that all humans are experiencing. But I have practiced, thank God for like Abraham Hicks and certain like people that are speaking God through them. They're kind of like mediums that have helped me to like tap out of resistance and into the flow. Like, and that to me translates into trusting more in God. If I'm always in gratitude and I'm trustful and I don't feel like I'm white knuckling and I have control, then I can enjoy life more, therefore more peace, more passion, more purpose, because I'm not trying to contrive. I'm not trying to manipulate. I'm not trying to control. And so now at this time in my life, I'm really trying to walk the balance beam of where am I really truly being called to serve, and what is my true purpose here? Why was I given this voice and this strength and this whatever it is inside me, even in spite of my insecurities? And what can I relinquish control of and really just trust in God and have faith, right? So I love all the points that you made. And, for me, it's just more flow, more trust in God, dude, and less worry, less contriving, less, just kind of showing up as me. At this point, I couldn't have said any of this at 20 years old or at 30 years old, but at this point in my life, I'm far from perfect, but I definitely have peace, passion, and purpose. Now, is it all the time, all day, every day? Absolutely not. Like, holy crap. I mean, I'm having conversations with myself all day, every day, more so than any other person. But
yeah, so that's
happy.
That conversation piece of talking to yourself every day, which a lot of I do, I think a lot of people do. That's a time where you can start to use that as prayer. A lot of times, what he talks about, or we talked about last week, and we've talked about several times, is the hard on ourselves thing turns into negative self-talk, meaning even when you're positively trying to talk to yourself about the things you're doing bad, it's still negative self-talk because you're giving credit to the bad that you
Right.
are.
Right.
So a lot of humans, a lot of us will say, all right, that's dumb, Mike. You shouldn't be doing that. That's, you know what happens. We're going to stop doing that. I'm not doing that anymore. Even that like kind of hype talk is negative self-talk.
Yeah, it attracts it.
It's just bringing awareness to the fact that you're doing bad again. And, I want to challenge, they wrote some stuff to ask, some questions to the group, like, what are some of the reasons that we don't pray and worship more regularly and in any certain way? And, how I take that is more like, instead of introducing something brand new into our lives that doesn't exist in the day, can you find places, like I said, can you pull something out and replace it? You know what I mean? Don't introduce something that's completely brand new. Like, I haven't gone to the gym all year, but tomorrow I'm going to do a full body workout. Dude, pump the brakes. Maybe just go walk around the gym, get a feel for it and see where you want to be. Stretch and go home. Like, you don't have to fucking jump in the deep end, pretend to drown and be like, I know how to swim. So
the mind gets ahead of the body.
Well, it's not even, it's not the mind ahead of the body. It's your self image of yourself, what you think you are, that you've never done anything to be. So your mind doesn't do shit besides it's the computer based. And the only time it makes bad decisions when our dumbass tries to jump in front of it with some ego or some idea of image of what we think we are compared to the world. And it's like, okay, you want to do this? All right, well, let's head down there. And then you go to the gym and you're in bed for 4 days. You're like, my legs. That's why I hate doing legs. So I want to challenge, like Amber just said, like this talk, like being alone is a skill. You have a lot of time to talk to yourself out loud or in your brain. Everybody's doing it. I would challenge us, this whole group, myself, both of us, anybody who's listening later, is to try to use that time and curve it into prayer. And prayer of not like our fathers and Hail Marys. I mean, like, just let him be witness to what you're saying. Speak this way. Speak in a way of like representing your love to him. You're trusting him. You're trusting yourself. The things you're capable of doing, you can see in your future with his guidance. I mean, I would challenge us to reword things that we're already doing. So it's not like this full on, I'm I don't go to church and maybe I haven't been full on, but now I'm just going to dive in because that's what it feels good. I can tell people I'm a believer or whatever the titles of being part of a group looks like for humans. You know what I mean? Especially in what it is today. It's like, oh, post something and people believe that you're that, but I don't want to meet the person and be disappointed. I want to meet the person and be underwhelmed by what I knew about them. So, I mean, if we can change some of just the small things we're already doing, just change the wording and start maybe turning them into a little bit more prayer-ish type. I think it goes to exactly what we always talk about, projecting the images in front of you. Like, we control what images we see every day. Why do you see this thing every day? Why do you stop seeing things that you used to see all the time? It's because a choice you made somewhere along the line changed. I was telling Portia before, like, we don't give ourselves enough credit for the good we do. We like to harbor on the bad. We accomplish something. Yeah, we accomplish something. It's like, yeah, I was supposed to. Like, I'm a human. Like, I'm good at that. I know I am. Yeah, but like, celebrate it. Like, we do birthday parties every year because our mom pushed us out of her womb. Like, we didn't do anything, but like, you wrote a book. Like, we should have a party for that. The birth of the book party every year, like
Right.
accomplishments, like celebrate people's little and big things that are just like, you know what? Let's celebrate that because you did something about it. You didn't, your parents didn't have sex in the back of a car at a movie theater and you got pushed out through a giant, like, wow, yay. You're so skillful. Like, you didn't do anything. But your time here, you did something. You did a change. You did something amazing. It's like, let's celebrate those things, like obnoxiously. You know what I mean? And then it's easier to show up to yourself every day and be like, oh, my positive self-talk sounds more like prayer, trust, and peace in my mind than going through my faults of the day. Or, dude, you gotta get your shit together. like
Yeah.
boring.
Yeah, for me, I mean, that, like that's when things started to shift. Like the first, but like 10 years ago when I started this conversation at all, ever even conceptually heard of things like what we're talking about now. I literally had to lie to myself, like on the way to work and stuff. I had to be like, I'm successful, I'm happy, I'm healthy, I'm wealthy. And everything I said felt like a complete lie. And I wasn't trying to acknowledge that I wasn't those things. I was just repeating things that I still, like in my gut instinct, I was like, liar,